What's going on, guys? How's everybody doing? For those of you that don't know me, you probably clicked on the wrong video. Not sure how you found me or why my 2 million subscriber special is the first video you decided to click on, but either way, you messed up. I mean, you can stay in like, I'm not like mad at you or whatever. It's just like, what the are you doing? You know what I mean? That's all. Anyways, for those of you that do know who I am, which should be all of you, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for 2 million subscribers. Unless you're not subscribed, then I'm taking that thank you back and giving that to somebody else. But yeah, guys, we made it to 2 million subs. It only took 4 years, 696 videos. I'm not even kidding. That's actually how many I've posted. 1.4 billion views, 20 million hours of watch time, hundreds of cans of Celsius, and probably too much Adderall. But hey, we haven't died yet, so that's pretty sweet, I guess. I can't tell what's more surprising though, like me hitting 2 million subs or hitting 2 million subs without getting canceled or ending up as a thumbnail for a Penguin Zero video. I mean, isn't this around the time that that's supposed to happen though? Like, it's around like the 5-year mark when YouTubers start getting a little sloppy and start committing felonies for some reason. I don't know, I just figured that when you start a YouTube channel, like your first course of action is make videos, get a following, become successful, and then ruin your life for no reason. Like, that might be somewhere in like the terms of service or something, I don't know. Anyways, we've rambled on long enough. Hopefully I got most of my sarcasm out of the way so that I can answer your questions like somewhat genuinely. But I mean, hey, if it's a sarcastic question, I'm probably gonna answer it sarcastically. And then if it's a serious question, I'm probably still gonna answer it pretty sarcastically, so I don't know. Well, I mean, we'll see how serious I can be throughout this whole thing, but so far, we're not doing a great job of it. I don't know. Also, at the end of the video, I'm gonna reveal like my next big YouTube video that I'm planning on posting, so make sure you stay till the end for that, for the love of Christ. I really need this video to do well so I can pay for the next 50 mansions that I plan on buying at some point. Anyways, we got a lot of questions to go through, and I have a lot of Celsius to also go through, so without further ado, let's get into it. All right, first question of the day comes from Josiah Schneider. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's honestly not that big, but who makes the best comedy skits? I would have to say it would be like me, and then a massive, massive gap, and then maybe Key and Peele, and then another really massive gap, and then literally everybody else. Like that's basically how I see it. I hope I answered your question, Josiah, and if I didn't, then you know where to find me. You know what I mean? All right, congrats, Lando. My questions are we ever going to see more books thrown at CEOs? Do you plan on doing IRL or gaming content, and what is the reason you started YouTube? Yes, probably not, and don't worry about it. How about that? No, I'm just kidding. The first two I actually meant. I'm probably not going to do a gaming channel. I really just don't have time. I barely have time to do like this channel and then also do my reaction channel on the same time. Just Lando, in case anybody doesn't know. Please feel free to follow that like right now. And then what is the reason you started YouTube? That's a great question. I feel like I probably answered this last time, but I would say it was a mix of like me hating my job. I was a petroleum engineer, so I was an engineer in the oil field. So I really hated my job. I always wanted to do something kind of for myself because my parents own their own business, so I really wanted to be an entrepreneur and kind of like be my own boss. So a mix of those two. Then the fact that I did YouTube in particular was kind of just like a random occurrence. Like I never really knew that I wanted to do this. Like it was kind of just, I fiddled with a bunch of different like kind of side hustles and making content and whatever, and then like eventually I just landed into comedy because it was like the most fun and the most successful thing that I tried. If that's not fate, then I don't know what is. That's the best answer I can give. I wish I could expand on that, but I have a lot of questions to go through, so moving on. All right, before getting into content creation, what was your dream career? Weirdly enough, content creation was never my dream career. Like, honestly, since probably high school, I've always wanted to become like an electronic producer slash DJ. So maybe that is like a future career path for me at some point, and I don't think I could do YouTube and that at the same time. Becoming like an EDM producer is just like my all-time dream. Being on a stage in front of like millions of people and just like playing bangers, there's no better, like more rewarding like career path than that. I do have some experience actually making music in the past. Like I did that before I started making YouTube videos, so like I could easily just get back into it, but I don't know, maybe in like a year I'll put out like a song or two and then you guys can tell me if I should give up YouTube and do that or give up music and keep doing YouTube. I'd rather be a 50-year-old DJ than a 50-year-old YouTuber, if that makes sense. I mean, Tiesto's in his 50s and he's still DJing, so like ain't nothing stopping me yet, right? All right, would you ever do stand-up? Congrats on 2 mil. Been there since 70K. Wow, that's a long time ago. That was probably 3 years ago. So would I ever do stand-up? Probably not. That's like a completely different like art form that I have zero experience with, and like if I were to get good at stand-up, I would have to like put in most of my time into that. Not only that, but I also just like I think have too much anxiety to do that to myself. I like making jokes and then like refilming them if they just don't land, rather than like doing them live and then watching the disappointing faces of everybody who just heard that joke. I don't like my shame straight up, you know what I mean? I'd rather just like see it in the comments or something. So probably not gonna do stand-up anytime soon. All right, will you start streaming Fortnite Fortnite, Fall Guys. Okay, why is my computer not charging? Oh yeah, because it's not plugged in, you stupid idiot. Alright, so will you start streaming Fortnite, Fall Guys, or any video games in the future? I don't know why you guys think you can just ask as many questions as you want. Like, there should really be a character limit on some of these comments, because we're just getting like 5 questions per person, and this is gonna take me all god day. But you know what? I'm happy to do it, you know what I mean? Because we're celebrating this, and it's all thanks to you guys, so who gives a right? Now, I have streamed Fortnite and Fall Guys before. Those are really the only 2 games I play on my PS5, so like if I were to stream, I would do that again. I don't know, let me know in the comments if you guys want to see me live stream more. I mean, I don't enjoy it that much, mainly because I'm like already exhausted from all the other work I do during the day, so like it just takes a lot out of me. But if y'all think it'd be a good idea for me to do like 1 a week and just like do like these Q&As like throughout the live stream, let me know in the comments. I mean, I don't even know why I asked that. You're probably just gonna say yes anyways, but I'll consider it. And then question 2, how much time does it take for you to make videos in one day, or how many videos do you make a day? Shorts can typically take anywhere between like 8 and 16 hours depending on how hard it was to like write the script. And then like longer, like 4-minute, 5-minute skits, those usually take about like a week to make. I think the longest part of my entire creative process is literally just like script writing the whole thing. Like, I mean, the off-brand Avenger skits take sometimes like a week and a half, like depending, because like there's like 30 different characters I have to film. I have to do like, you know, special effects. I have to like add background music and make it cinematic. So a lot of that takes a long time, and then like all the different shots I have to make. I will be doing more off-brand Avenger just have some goddamn patience, please. I'd like to know your work history and how it led to being a YouTuber. I kind of already answered that before, but basically I hated my job as an engineer, and then I just quit cold turkey and then just said like, I hope YouTube works out and pays my bills, otherwise I'm living in my mom's house. So that was basically my thought process. And thank God 3 years later, it worked out. So couldn't be more thankful. All right, here's another one of those like 5 goddamn questions within a question. What is your favorite scary movie? Are you Hispanic? Are you sure? At what age do you want to pass away? Have you considered voice acting? What would you do if you were no longer a content creator? You know what? I'm gonna pick 3 of those and answer them, and they're not gonna be serious answers. Favorite scary movie is maybe like the first Insidious movie. I love like the idea of like astral projection, and like it kind of reminds me of Backrooms a little bit. At what age do you want to pass away? I don't want to pass away, so if I could become immortal, that'd be great. And then if I considered voice acting, I would actually love to be a voice actor, especially in like an anime or something, because I'm fucking obsessed with anime. If any studios are watching my 2 million subscriber special for some reason and would like to hire me, I would love to do that. Email me as quickly as possible about that. All right, if you had to make a fandom name for us fans, what would it be? Didn't we already settle on Calrissians? I thought that was like the common consensus these days. You guys are Calrissians. I'm Lando Calriss, even though that's not my last name. We live happily ever after. I don't know. I was also thinking of maybe just calling you guys idiots, because you have to be pretty stupid to follow me, but maybe we should just stick with Calrissians for now. I think that probably makes more sense. Anyways, all right, what is your favorite skit you have done and one you want to do? Huge fan of your content. Well, glad to hear that, Mr. Gappy the First. Great name, by the way. My favorite skit I've ever done, it's kind of hard to say, because like some skits like do really well, but I hated making them, and then some skits were like fun to make, but then they did awful, so it kind of depends. I think till this day, my favorite video I've ever made is probably the 4 dudes 1 drive-through video. Not for any particular reason other than the fact that it's just me being my sarcastic, stupid self like the entire video. Just a really dumb conversation back and forth for like 3 to 4 minutes. I love doing those kind of videos. Also like those boardroom videos, kind of like the guys who invented like bottles of water. Just a really unproductive, stupid conversation for like 3 to 4 minutes is like my favorite type of humor. So I'm gonna probably try to just do more of those, just like funnier dialogue, stuff like that. I'm not really big on like super cinematic, highly edited, pristine videos. Those kind of turn into more of like a job rather than just like me just like joking around in my studio. So in conclusion, the more sarcastic, the better, essentially. All right, congrats, man. Can't wait for the Q&A. Well, you're in it now, buddy. Will there be more videos of inconvenient tasks, or will there be a new series? Well, MG29110, super creative name, by the way, just can't get over that. I did just post my finale video for the inconvenient tasks. I feel like the series has gone on long enough. I mean, I could probably carry it to like part 100, but there's only so many different ways I can do these episodes without like rehashing the same garbage or like staying original. So I think it's just better to just start a new series in general. I do have a new series in mind, but I'm not going to tell you because it's a secret, but might not come out in the next month, but when it does come out, you'll be the first one to know. All right, MG29110. All right, apart from hilarious videos, shorts, and comedy skits and more, what other hobbies, interests do you have? Believe it or not, I don't have a lot, mainly because this is pretty much 90% of my life, but if you're gonna find me outside of my studio making videos, there's a good chance you'll see me at electronic music festivals, because I love those. I go to the gym pretty much regularly. I guess you consider that either a hobby or just a lifestyle. I don't really know. I've been doing a lot more traveling recently, so if you want to consider that a hobby, that's my new hobby, I guess, which is great and all, but like at a certain point, it starts becoming like more work than pleasure because you're just like planning and then spending money and then constantly on the move the whole time. But other than that, I honestly really could use more hobbies. So if you guys have any ideas of like fun things that I could do outside of like my work life, that'd be great. I don't really have a lot going on. All right, what got you into doing skits? Any channels you pull inspiration from? Well, Deadman3446. I already answered that, so sounds like you want to be a dead man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a murderer. That's not really my thing. But anyways, what got me into doing skits? One, I would say my terrible job. Two, my terrible life. And then three, being really bored. One of those. But in terms of like actually getting into doing skits, watching all my favorite creators like coming up, like kind of got me like at least intrigued into it. I used to watch shows like Key and Peele and like Daniel Tosh and all the stupid skits he would do. Even like Trevor Wallace was a little bit of an inspiration. Watching all those guys kind of got me more into it. And then when the perfect storm of like COVID and like TikTok came together, that was like the perfect like launch point for me. So you can tell there's definitely some inspiration like mixed in. So let me know if that answered your question. Anyways, since your last Q&A, have you watched any new anime, or are there any that you are currently watching? If you haven't checked them out yet, I definitely recommend giving Classroom of the Elite and Lord of the Mysteries a try. If you're ever asking yourself, like, have I watched any anime since X time period, or like, am I currently watching it? The answer is always going to be yes. I can't even explain how many animes I've watched since the last time I did a Q&A. It is insurmountable. I don't even think you have enough time in your day-to-day life to watch the amount of animes that I've watched. Let me put it to you this way. I've watched so many that I was forced to watch One Piece. That's essentially what it's gotten down to. I haven't finished One Piece yet, but I'm about on like episode 780 or something. It feels like it's been like a year and a half since I started that journey, and I'm still going on it. So give me some time with that. But in terms of the ones you just recommended, I haven't seen Classroom of the Elite. So if that's like an anime worth watching, I'm down to check it out. And then Lord of the Mysteries, I think I started like the first 2 episodes, and then I just like didn't understand what the was going on, and then just like rewatched Hunter x Hunter after that. But yeah, if you guys have any other animes that you think I'm sleeping on right now that I should check out, please let me know in the comments. But most of like the mainstream big ones I've probably already seen before, so try to think a little bit outside the box here. All right, I just realized that I have a ton of more questions left, so I'm gonna try to speed things up so we can get through most of them at least. How do you know so much about these jobs? Did you ever work at Walmart, Subway, or even McDonald's? You're not gonna like my answer, but no, I have not. I'll tell you this though, I have done a lot of odd jobs. Like I have been a waiter before. I've done DoorDash, I've done Uber, I've been a lifeguard, I've been a valet driver. Like I've done a lot of like stupid jobs, but I haven't done like the worst of the worst, like worked at Subway or Starbucks or whatever. But yeah, I pretty much make up. So yeah. Did you like working with Josiah, Tyler, and Jake? Also, congrats, by the way. I love working with those guys. We're actually all like in the same group chat. We all like talk all the time. But we all live in like different areas. I think Tyler and Jake live in LA, and then Josiah's in New York, and I'm in North Carolina. So we're all very separated, but when we're together, it's all a really good time. I should probably like find some more people to collab with, but yeah, those are like my my 3 close like creator friends, I guess. All right, congrats on hitting 2 million. My main question is, when you gonna make that gaming channel? When pigs can fly in the air, you'll see a gaming channel by Lando Calrez. How about this? The day that I post a video and not a single person says first, that'll be the day that I start a gaming channel. Until then, you will get no such content from me, sir. All right, what gave you the idea to start a YouTube channel? I've been watching you for a long time. Top 3 funniest people in YouTube Shorts. The fact that you couldn't just say that I'm the funniest person in YouTube Shorts is kind of disrespectful, but I'll let it slide for now because it seems like a genuine compliment. What gave me the idea to start a YouTube channel? I kind of already answered that, but essentially, YouTube is great. It's honestly the fastest growing platform that I was able to grow on, and also it's like the easiest platform to monetize on. So YouTube is like a no-brainer for anyone making content because it's so easy to get monetized and like start making this your full-time job. Without YouTube, I don't think I would have ever done this full-time. So you got to give it up to them. They know what they're doing there, and I freaking love it. That's all I can say about it. All right, how can you complain about CEOs if you're a billionaire? I'm actually a trillionaire, so get your facts straight. Can't you just sacrifice a mansion or 2 to actually solve the problems you act out in your scripts? And then also, are the offenders coming back? Well, first of all, what you're describing is a poor people problem, and what we do with poor people problems is we throw them in the garbage can. So that's what I have to say about that. And in terms of are the offenders coming back, yes, they are. I don't think I'm ever going to end that series, or at least like not anytime soon. So as soon as I can find a way to make those videos faster without wasting about a week of just straight up editing, then I will start making more of them. But I'm definitely going to keep that series going no matter what. Question 1, are you gay? Question 2, do you like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare? And question 3, are you depressed again? No to the first one. The second one is basically the same as the first one, so no. And then yes, I am substantially more depressed after having read these 3 questions. Let's see. If there is, what is one skit you dislike and or hate but is super popular? There's not really a skit in mind that like I actually do not like. There's a couple skits that I posted like back in 2022 that I think are like really cringy. But I will say this, there are times where I like script write an entire video and then film all of it, and then after I finish editing all of it, I realize that this video sucks and I don't want to post it anymore. A lot of times it's hard to like go from like your brain to on paper what it's supposed to actually look like. So there's countless videos I've posted where I'm like, this did horrible, and I immediately like private it because I'm just like, well, at least we tried, but I'm gonna move on from this and just never let anybody else see it. Boom, there goes like 6 hours wasted. But yeah, that's my answer. All right, what advice would you have for someone who wants to go full-time content creation? Give up? I don't. No, I'm just kidding. But the best advice I could give you is do something that you actually enjoy doing, to where like if you were making 0 money at all from doing it, you would still do it anyways. And I know that sounds cheesy, like, oh, like do what you love. Like, I'm a Pisces. Like, I deserve to be happy. Like, no, don't do that. Especially like in this economy, you don't have like the wherewithal to like pursue your dreams without going into serious debt these days. I mean, it's so difficult. Like, that's why YouTube is so great, because you can get monetized pretty quickly. But with content creation, it just takes so much time to like get where you want to be, especially like financially, but also like kind of paving your own path through the creator space, that if it's not something you would already see yourself doing and you think about constantly because you enjoy it so much, if it's not that, then you're gonna burn out extremely fast. Like, I don't know, you gotta find out where like your hobby intersects with a monetizable job, essentially. If you can find where those two intersect, that's where you should probably stick to for the rest of your life, if you can. Anyways, would you ever do stand-up comedy? No, but if you could stand up and get out of my chat, that'd be great. All right, did you have a former classmate or coworker named Jake? Jake is the character that I on in pretty much every video that you despised, and is that why he is the character you on in every video? All right, well, that's the same thing I said. And then Jake Rass, I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's also a not very popular YouTuber. I have this question too, or is it just directed towards me? It is directed directly towards you, Jake. I'm pretty sure the character I used to on before was Kyle, and then once you came into my life, then it became Jake. So I don't know how you want to process that in your own brain. Yeah, it's pretty much your fault. If you guys have other names of kids that you guys hated in high school and would like me to, you know, maybe incorporate them, please let me know. How do you film skits? Do you do all of one character's lines then switch clothes to another, or how does that work? That's actually a great question. So yeah, like say I have a video of like 7 characters, I'll film all the lines with one character, and then I'll change outfits, and then film all the lines with that next character, and then I'll just do all of them all the way through. And then when I finally edit them, I have to like basically take each line and kind of like carefully line them up throughout the timeline so that the entire skit makes sense. Yeah, that's basically like the easiest way to do it, and I think that's how most people probably do it. It would be super annoying to film a line, change my clothes, film the next line, change back into the clothes. It just wouldn't make any sense. I think I did that when I first started, and I was like, this is stupid. I want to die. And then I changed my methods. So yeah. All right, would you rather give up all the memories or all the money you made this year? I'd have to say all of the money. Even though I have trillions of dollars, that would suck to lose all said trillion. But using all the memories and the knowledge I've made up to this point, I could probably get close to 2 million subs again, at least at some point. Like if I had to start from 0, could I make it back to where I am now? Possibly. I would rather do that than keep all the money and then like forget how to make videos and then like basically have a pointless life from then on out. Probably give away the money, you know? I mean, money's just a concept anyways, right? Let's see. Will you ever bring back an old series like Companies If They Were Honest or something like that? It's actually If Companies Were Honest, you stupid I haven't really ended a series per se. Like I think after a while, like certain series sort of just get stale and people can start guessing the punchlines and it just gets old after a while, and then I also get kind of bored of doing it. So I love trying new video ideas that I've never done before and then just like see how they perform, which does mean that about 80 to 70% of the time they just completely bomb and I never think about it again. But then like every now and then I'll like come up with something new and then it does well, and then I'm like, oh, maybe that could be a series. But it just starts with like basically just trying new essentially. This is a good one. Be honest. How many videos have you recorded where you knew it was bad halfway through but kept going anyways? I would say quite a bit actually. Probably like maybe 20 or so, and I think the majority of those 20 ended up doing really bad, so like I pretty much called it. But sometimes I'll like edit to like the halfway point and I'll be like, oh god, what the hell was I smoking when I wrote this? That doesn't happen as often, but it used to happen quite a bit, and that's, you know, it's all part of the learning process, you know what I mean? All right, serious question. Do you have a girlfriend? If not, what mistakes did you make in life to not have one? How much time you got? I would say 1, no, I don't have a girlfriend, and then 2, it's a mix of like me not making the time for it, me being too picky, and me like traveling around and like working too much to actually, again, put time into it. So it's basically like a mix of me not having time and then me not making time. If it's anybody's fault that I'm single, it's gonna be my own. That's all I can say. Are you going to do a face reveal in the near future? How about you do a face reveal so I can punch you in the face? Is it hard not to laugh while recording? I will say there are certain lines that I've said that I'm like, that is just so ridiculous that even came out of my mouth that I have to laugh, even though it's not gonna make it to the final cut. Like there's very few lines that I can't get out, but I do have a lot of bloopers of me laughing and just saying the most ridiculous stuff on camera. So like maybe at some point I can just like upload everything under like channel memberships and then we'll just go from there. But yeah, there's plenty of times where I'm like, dude, I can't get this out with a straight face. See, were you divorced or something? I see a lot of divorce jokes in your videos. No, I was not divorced, but I just think divorce is funny, and I think cheating on your wife is also funny, so I incorporate those as much as I physically can. Doesn't mean you should do it, I just think that it's funny. That's basically it. Do you have any corporate experience? Yeah, I would say the engineering job that I had for like 4 years, about half of that was mostly corporate related. A lot of it was like in the field, like blue collar stuff, but it was like also a lot of white collar office bullshit with like a manager. So I know some of you guys have probably been in the office for like 10 to 20 years and like have an awful boss and an awful coworker, and you probably want to off yourself every single minute of the day. But I do have enough experience to at least make fun of it in a very negative light in my videos. That's all the experience I really needed. Lando, I have a question. Why do you fake being rich with that green screen on the other channel you always forget about? Don't know what the this guy's talking about. Don't even own a green screen. So I don't. If there's one thing I lie about, and I lie about a lot of if there's one thing I don't lie about, it's my money. You guys are lucky you're even seeing the mansions that I own. Like I could just not show you at all, but I'm doing you the courtesy of showing you because nobody's gonna believe it otherwise. What's the most fun part of making your videos? Answering dumbass questions like that. No, I'm just kidding. Let me try to be serious for a second here. But I think script writing is probably my favorite part of it. Videoing, editing, I could literally do without. I actually hate videoing and editing, but script writing is probably the most fun. It's where the sausage gets made, and I love to make sausage, you know what I mean? Not in a gay way though. Let's see, what was your first video? I'm pretty sure it was the one I did with your mother, wasn't it? Sorry, I wasn't supposed to say that out loud. My first actual video, I would say, was on TikTok back in early 2021. And it was literally just a video of like me talking. Maybe I can like display it over this video if I can find it. I'm not even sure if I know where it is. But it was the first one I posted on my comedy channel. And I think it got like 800,000 views before like TikTok decided to mute it, because they were just muting like every video that someone posted with like a single cuss word in it. Ever since that, man, that's what got me hooked, and then I just like started making videos every single week until like I guess today. But I didn't start doing like playing characters and doing like more than one person in the video until like 3 months in. I think the first video I did where I was like talking to myself was like airport food one. If anybody remembers that video, it was basically like the first like if they were honest video, and ever since then I just only did those from then on out. It was great. All right, do you have trouble dating since you're a popular YouTuber? I will be honest, I think dating is more tough being a YouTuber than it would be if I wasn't a YouTuber. Like, you might think that's counterintuitive, but for one, I would say 80% of my audience is dudes anyways, and unfortunately I'm not gay, so that doesn't really help me very much. Also, I think a lot of times when I like meet somebody and I let them know that I'm a YouTuber, they don't really see it as like a serious profession. I don't know if it's just like the people that are my age, like the current generation, because I feel like Gen Z and Gen Alpha, like they probably don't give a if you're like a YouTuber or not. But I feel like in the millennial type range, because I'm 31, I think a lot of girls just think it's like a hobby and it's like not real, and I'm not like a serious person because of it. But I don't know. I mean, a lot of times I have to like convince them that it's a real job, and like eventually they like buy into it. But if they're not like open-minded, a lot of times I feel like it shoots me in the foot at the end of the day, which is unfortunate, but I would rather have YouTube than a girlfriend, if that makes any sense. How long does it take to film a single short video? Depends on how long I last. I mean, sorry, we're talking about skits. Yeah, for skits, I would say normally like an hour probably. If I'm tired that day, maybe 2 hours. Long form videos normally take 3 hours. And then like really long form, like off-brand Avengers stuff, that's like 7 hours. So super fun stuff. I've never lost my voice doing it yet, but I've come very close. I usually don't yell super loud. Like, I'm sure Josiah, like the decaf guy, I'm sure he loses his voice all the time. I'm pretty monotone and sarcastic most of the time, so I don't have to yell, but I get close. Where am I from? Nashville, Tennessee. Yeah. What else? What's your bench max? Dude, I haven't benched in probably 3 or 4 years. I switched to like dumbbell bench and then my shoulder started hurting. So now I just do like the machines because I'm a little bitch. At my peak, I think I was doing 315. So like 3 plates. Nowadays, I could probably do like 275 max. But yeah, I mean, that's what happens when you get older, guys. Your body shrivels up and then I'm really just working out for aesthetics, not to be strong anymore. I could probably lose to a lot of people in a fight, but at least I'll look good doing it, right? That's the end goal there. Lemonade? No thanks. You know what I mean? Like, I appreciate the offer, but I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So go ask somebody else. When are you going to continue the off-brand Avengers videos? You know, I think 85 different people asked this question, and trust me, I will be continuing it. Next episode should come out within the next... I'm not even going to give you an estimate because I'm going to be wrong, but it will come out, I promise you. And I'm also not going to take a year-long break in between off-brand Avengers videos, so take that with a grain of salt, and just like, I promise it's not going to be as long as it was last time. And my question is, did you have a brother that runs a roofing company in Jacksonville, or a roofing company in general? I'm not going to lie, Blood DET fan, no, I did not. Moving on. Is Jake still in North Sentinel Island, or is he back in the college classes? I think what he's referring to is the video where everyone bombs the tests, basically. My best recommendation, Jake, would be to remove yourself from this class, hop on a boat, and hopefully crash it into North Sentinel Island. Where's that at? The Bahamas? Yeah, dude, check it out. Let me know how it is. Jake has returned from North Sentinel Island. I think he was only banished there for like a couple weeks because I needed him to be in other skits. So Jake has returned, but there's a good chance he's going to end up back there. So let's see. If Apple actually made an insane upgrade to phones 1 year, would you still find a way to make fun of it for being the same? Based on the leaks of the newest phones, it actually looks pretty sick, and they actually fixed a lot of like really stupid things. So the answer is yes, I will still be making fun of them no matter what. It doesn't even matter at this point. It's just part of the brand at this point. How do you stay motivated on days when you don't feel like filming? 3 words: Celsius, Adderall, in Celsius. No, I'm mostly kidding, but not really. But on the days that I'm like really unmotivated to work, a lot of times like it just takes a long time for me to do it. Like I'll still get it done. Like I know what I have to do for the day, but depending on how motivated I am, that's how long it will take me. Looks like we got 3 questions to answer in one question, which is really fun to do. Why so angry all the time? Why always triggering people with book to face? Who hurt you? And why not know how to speak English? That's my question to you, sir. Question 1's answer is going to be there's just a lot of things to be angry about. That's a good answer, especially in this economy. Even if things are going great in my life, it's better to hold just a little bit of anger because I use that to fuel my next video. So anger is not always bad, you know what I'm saying? And then why always triggering people with books to the face? I think a book to the face is the best way to drive a point across without saying words that I'm probably going to get demonetized for. And then who hurt me? Probably your mother. Anyways, are you happy with your current style of content? I will say that I am getting kind of tired of just like playing 2 to 3 characters and then just talking to myself for an entire skit. That's why I started the reaction channel, so I can kind of do more long form like talking type videos. Like I know that's just like how my content is and like probably what does the best on my channel, but I would like to change up the format just a hair or just make it just different so people don't get bored of the same style all the time. The more stuff I can just like add to it to keep it like new and fresh, the better basically. I don't really know how long this video is going to be. I've probably answered like over 50 questions at this point. So I'm going to answer just a few more and then I'm going to get to the outro and then end it. And if it goes on too long, then I'll just post 2 Q&As at some point. I don't know. All right. Why did you make your name Lando Calriz? I think I've answered this a dozen times. I'm not even sure. Basically, my first Instagram username was Lando Calrissian. I'm not even a Star Wars fan, really. Like, I like Star Wars, but I'm not like, I don't play the games. You know what I'm saying? So, not really. So, when I first started TikTok, I was just going to use my Instagram username as my, like, TikTok username. Lando Calrissian was already taken, obviously. So, I basically just, like, cut off the IAN at the very end and just left it at Lando Calriz. My actual last name doesn't really sound like a creator last name, so I'm just going to leave it at Lando Calriz until I get canceled and I have to rebrand. We'll see how long we can go before that inevitably happens. Do you plan on quitting anytime soon? Not that I want you to. I love your content. Well, I appreciate that, Astro Detainer 17. No, honestly, I see myself doing this pretty much the rest of my life, unless, you know, A, I get canceled, which still hasn't happened yet. I hope it doesn't, but you never know. And then 2, if I, you know, fell into like another career that I actually enjoyed a lot more, like music. So if I ever ended up doing music full time, I would probably wean off the videos and just do that, but only time will tell, I guess. How much time does it take you to write a script for a short and then edit it? I kind of answered that before, but scripting can take anywhere from like 3 to 12 hours, depending on how much like writer's block I have that day. Editing is usually pretty quick, like 2 hours, and then, you know, if it's a longer skit, it could take like days. You know, it really just depends. On average, probably like 6 to 8 hours to script write, and then like 3 to 4 hours to edit. Do you plan on being an actor? Absolutely not. No, I have no desire to do it, and I also just don't think I have the talent for it, or the range per se. It's just not in my cards, and I just have no interest whatsoever. I would be like a writer for like a show, but I probably wouldn't be the actor in it. Maybe I'd do some like cameos, but like I would not want to be like a main character in a series. Like that just sounds awful. Why are the characters always named Jake, Kyle, or Scott? Just out of curiosity. I honestly have no idea. Like I have no tie personally to like the name Jake, Kyle, or Scott. I think they just roll off the tongue very easily, especially when I'm like in an angered state. Jake, Kyle, and Scott are just gonna be my go-tos until like I can come up with another name that's equally as funny to say. I don't know. Let's see. Can you DoorDash me food at my place of work? It's boring as over here for real. No. How did you perfect your sarcasm? I would say a lot of my conversations with my friends, and especially my brothers, is just a very sarcastic type of banter. I think over time, like I just got so used to talking sarcastically to people that it like, once I started making videos on it, it was very easy to transition to that. But yeah, it's basically just like channeling all my friendship and like brotherly conversations into like skit form. It's in my DNA at this point, and I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. So be honest, are the socks you are wearing right now comfortable? They're not bad. They're not bad. I've had more comfortable socks, but these are, I'm sitting the down, so I really can't tell. You know what I'm saying? If you're the owner of Disney, what would you do? Probably shut the company down. I don't know. Just do something different than what they're currently doing, and that would be probably a really good business plan. That's all I could say. All right, 3 more questions, and then I'm gonna shut this down because I got places to be, and actually, I really have nowhere to be, but I think I've answered a lot. Favorite movie of all time, I would say, is still to this day probably Interstellar. I have like a top 3 if you guys want to hear the top 3. It would be like Interstellar, Edge of Tomorrow, which is that one with Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt. Great movie. And then probably I Am Legend. I freaking loved I Am Legend. Maybe it was because I was a kid and that's when I first watched it, but even to this day, it still holds up pretty well. So those are my top 3. Will you do a fun, silly little gaming channel? No, but I could give you a fun, silly little punch to the face. Would that be fun and silly for you? Because I feel like that'd be really fun and silly for me. I don't know. Sorry, I hope you could tell I'm being sarcastic. I'm not being a dick. That's just, if you watch my videos, you should know this by now. I shouldn't have to explain myself. Do you watch any sports, and what team do you root for? I really don't watch that many sports. Like, if I'm gonna get into sports, it's gonna be like college football, NFL, and then, I don't know, like women's badminton. No, I'm just kidding. It's really just like March Madness for like college basketball, and then just like college football in the fall. Like, other than that, I really don't watch that many sports. And if I were to have a team, LSU is where I went to school for college. For the NFL, I guess it'd be the Carolina Panthers, since I'm in North Carolina now. It would be the Titans, but the Titans have not been good in a very long time, and I don't see them ever getting good in the future. So Carolina Panthers it is. Are you going to be doing a face reveal in the near future? Probably not. I don't think I'm ready for that yet. Nobody needs to look at my face anyway. So, all right, final question is also by Josiah Schneider. I know he gets 2 questions in this, which is kind of unfair, but hey, I don't hate the player, hate the game. You know what I'm saying? Who is your favorite YouTuber? Let's see. For comedy YouTubers, I would probably put like RDC World, Long Beach Griffey, and Ryan George probably at the top 3. Just in terms of like what I think is funny or like most translatable to my type of humor. I still think the goats of like comedy in general is Key and Peele, but like I wouldn't really like categorize them as YouTubers. And then just like great channels just in general that I like enjoy watching, I would probably put like Fern or like Veritasium or maybe Chris Williamson's podcast, like those 3, because they're like more educational, more like you can actually learn something from them. They're interesting to listen to. I like nerdy I mean, I'm an engineer at heart, so like that's kind of where that nerdiness comes from. But yeah, that's basically it. Sorry, Josiah, but you did not make the list. Although you are close. You are close, but let's be honest, dude. I'm only friends with you so I could steal your video ideas and like mooch off of your views. So sorry, not sorry, I guess. But anyways, I believe that is all the questions I could potentially pull out without running out of time and taking like a year to edit this video. So hopefully that answered the majority of the questions you guys are curious about. If I didn't answer something that you really wanted me to answer, I'll try to get to to it in the comments after I post this video, but I think I probably got out the majority of the answers you guys were looking for. At least I hope so. I don't know. Now it's time for the moment you've all been waiting for, or at least some of you. There's a good chance that nobody gives a shit about this at all, but the next long form YouTube video that I plan on posting. I don't have an exact title for it yet, so I'm not going to tell you exactly what it's going to be, but it essentially has to do with Captain America and the end of Endgame. And I'm doing that in preparation for Doomsday coming out in December, so I think it'll do really well, and I can assure you that it will in fact be funny. If it's not funny, then I'll just post another off-brand Avengers skit to make up for it or something. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But nonetheless, I do want to sincerely thank you guys again for hitting 2 million subscribers. I never would have dreamed in a million years that I would have taken my YouTube career to this point. Especially when I started, I never would have guessed like, oh yeah, I can totally see myself getting 2 million subscribers. Like, it's a pipe dream. But we actually made it, and it's all thanks to you guys, so I sincerely appreciate every single one of you. And I just realized that this is probably the most serious thing I've said this entire video. So, enjoy it while it lasts. But anyways, on to making more funny videos for you guys. My entire goal with this channel is to just make people laugh. That's all I really care about. So hopefully I've achieved that goal. But thank you guys for everything. I really appreciate it. And until next time.